to the Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars. I'm your host, Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. This is Ken Griffin. Ken of C. Griffin was born October 15th, 1968, a man of passion and money. Ken Griffin was always smart and geeky. And most importantly, he was always good at math. In 1986, he went to Harvard University. By the time he finished school, he already started 2 hedge funds that were worth more than $1 million. At this point, he was getting recognized as a prodigy. We all know the history of Ken Griffin, but do we know who he is? If you're watching this video, you're going to better understand who he is. And through understanding his stars and tracking his stars, we are going to have a better idea when we're going to get major events comes to Gamestop and AMC. Through understanding that his sun is debilitated, his Venus, which controls money, is at its fall, doesn't want to be there, wants to be an opposite sign, and Saturn, which controls reality, is also debilitated. And by the time this video is over, you're also going to learn about what's called the Yod in astrology, and it's known as the finger of God. Okay, we're going to talk about that, but he has it. And that's basically, and he has it with the main planet Saturn. If you look here, we already discussed this. Saturn is the main player of all these colored planets, not the gray ones, the colored one. Those are all planets, and they're all these planets are looking at your boy Saturn, okay? Saturn's debilitated, but look at Saturn. Saturn's getting the finger of God. That's what we call it. And you see these little green lines that are going over here? And we got one over here. And then these 2 planets are also talking to each other, makes that little triangle. Okay, so without making it too complicated, the top planet is the focus planet, and it's staring at 2 planets. These 2 planets it's staring at, they're not in harmony with this planet, but they're forced to deal with each other. It's almost like you're driving on one side of the road and someone has their brights on and you're just forced to have to deal with that. Or let's say you're at your desk and someone has a flashlight and they're just pointing their flashlight at you. This is what that is. It's like hitting you. You have to deal with it. And then these 2 bottom planets are in positive aspects with each other. So through understanding this combination, this focus point, this big obstacle, you tend to have major evolutions with these energies. Okay. And yeah, he has that.
And then for the war for talent amongst hedge funds, finding great investors has always been a challenge of all of us in finance. Great investors, like great basketball players, they're hard to come by. They have almost a gift, the ability to assimilate information, draw conclusions, and to act on their beliefs. It's a really unique and hard skill to find.
And it seems like these...
You can see in astrology is a pretty big deal, and it's usually an indication of some type of spiritual assignment, okay? And you can see some powerful people have had it. Prince had it, Princess Diana had it, both her sons have it. Don't get me wrong, all because you have the finger of God doesn't mean you're gonna be a good person. You can see here Hitler also had a Yod, and he was also a Libra rising. And he had a true node, okay? And this is what I was talking about. You see how his moon is at the top? And then 2 slower outer planets are at the bottom. Okay, he has a Pluto, which is the last planet, Saturn, one of the last planets, and then the moon, which is the fastest planet in the sky, right? So that's a true Yod. So if you guys want me to cover exactly how Yods work, and I'll make a whole video on it, just let me know. And if you guys want me to start covering all these powerful Libras, just to better understand that sign, let me know, because it seems to be a very interesting set of people here. We're also going to further understand Aries energy, since we are in Aries season. And if you look at his chart, everything is pointing at that Saturn, that debilitated position. And what's opposite of that debilitated position? Libra. His sun is debilitated there, meaning it's supposed to get the worst results. Also understanding his chart, and we are going to be tracking his start going forward, because this Aries season is for the Libras. If you haven't watched part 1 of Aries season is Libra season, watch that, because that's going to give you the timeline of some major potential moves in the stock market, especially AMC and Gamestop. Why am I saying this? Pluto Russia's president, Libra.
Now, but why do we have a little bit of red here? Well, because quite frankly, we shouldn't be in these upper bounds until really war ends, until some of the madness goes away.
If we get the war called off, if they find peace, that's going to move the stock market. Ken Griffin, Libra. Gary Gensler, Libra. ARON, Libra. All these guys have been flexing during Aries season, have they not? Will Smith, Libra. If you haven't watched part one, watch part one, because this explains my new timeline. I literally said in my Discord that something's going to happen to King Griffin, and the next day he was on the cover of Forbes. Now I'm telling you guys right now, we're about to have a Libra full moon on April 16th, and that's going to be hitting his sun. There is a conclusion coming for all Libras, especially the Libras with Aries energy, like he has right here. And then after this full moon, we then hit a new moon eclipse, and that's karmic events. When we ran to 70, that was also an eclipse. So after this video, you're going to get a lot of information about AMC timeline, stock market timeline, Ken Griffin, and you're going to learn a little about astrology. So let's get it.
The ability for the human mind to wrap itself around a problem is still the ultimate solution in the world.
When Katie talks, you can really tell that he really is about his work, and he's very, very passionate about it. And that is what Aries is all about. Aries is about passion. Aries is about going after what drives you. This is why Aries rules our sex drive. Aries rules what we want to take action on, what we're passionate about, what we will fight for. Aries is the warrior inside of us. Aries does rule war. Ken Griffin's whole reality is evolved around Aries, because remember what I said about Saturn. Saturn controls how we see reality and how we build reality. His Saturn is a Yod, and therefore there's a lot of friction here. His Saturn is also retrograde, and that means the planet, from our perspective, appears to be going backwards. In astrology, there's an extra emphasis when a planet is going backwards. It's like the planet slowed down and it was like super focused in that spot. So he has all these planets focused on his Saturn. Saturn's retrograde, and his Saturn is debilitated, meaning it doesn't want to be in Aries. It's supposed to give it the worst results. Why? Because Saturn is the builder, and it wants to make sure it's building everything perfectly. And Aries becomes all about self, where opposite of the debilitated planet, always the opposite sign is where it's exalted, where it does best. And it does best in Libra because Libra is the great balancer. But look at this. His Saturn is looking at his sun in Libra. So he understands how to balance. But does he? His sun is also debilitated in the sign of Libra. So he has two debilitated planets, two really big time important planets at that, looking at each other debilitated. And look at the results you get. You get someone who becomes obsessed with their work, okay? The sun is what we want. The sun is our ego. Saturn is what we're trying to build. His sun is debilitated, okay? So what do you get with debilitation? Sometimes you're going to get someone who is that energy or the exact opposite of the energy. Libra is the sign of relationships.
Citadel has been built on one simple equation, a belief that super talented individuals working together as a team can create extraordinary results.
Libra is a sign of abundance and love and happiness and beauty. There's a reason why he likes art so much. Libra is the sign of art. It's Venus, Aphrodite. There's a reason why he has so many relationships, because he's a master of relationships. He comes from Libra. So even though his Saturn is debilitated in Aries, where typically a Saturn Aries person would not know how to balance, he definitely knows how to balance if he chose to do so. But of course, he's choosing to focus all his energy on making as much money as possible. And that's exactly what a Saturn Aries person would do. because whatever they're after, they want to be the best. They want to be number one. They want to be the first. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. They want to be the beginning. They want to be the spark. They want to be the inventor. They want to be the one that came up with the idea. This is Aries energy. This is why the sun, opposite of the sign is debilitated, is exalted in Aries. Literally, his planets are flip-flop, but look at the results you get, guys. So never get nervous about a debilitated planet, because it can give you good results. You just got to make sure you have the right balance. Okay? So you guys know last Friday we had a new moon in the sign of Aries on top of his Saturn, and he landed Forbes. So what does this tell us, guys? This tells us, A, that Aries, that Saturn has karma behind it. And Saturn literally rules karma in astrology, because Saturn rules hard work. Saturn rules discipline, consistency, time. Saturn literally rules time. He's big on time, payment for order flow. He's big on coming out with a new idea to beat time. Okay, Saturn rules time in astrology. So let's focus on what Saturn is looking directly at. And that's his sun debilitated in Libra, and also Mercury retrograde in the sign of Libra. Now, check this out. Both of these planets are retrograde, looking at each other, really emphasizing Mercury and Saturn. What is Mercury in astrology? Mercury is all about the details. Mercury is how we process things. Mercury is literally our intelligence, literally. Mercury is our communication. Mercury is how we pay attention to the details, and how we analyze, and how we process, and how we carry out deals and stuff like that. Mercury is considered the clever one in astrology. Okay, so having a lot of Mercury energy conjunct the sun is really significant for a person who would be really good with numbers, for a person who really would be into the numbers, really into the details. I mean, the sun is what we're focused on. The sun is what we're consciously paying attention to. The sun is our wants. The sun is our ego. And he's really big on his knowledge. He wants knowledge. He wants information. He wants to analyze. He wants to be paying attention to the details. This is what he wants to do. And this is where he wants to put his balance. Okay, because you would say a person with the sun in Libra is a person who wants to put all their energy in like relationships. But if Mercury's with the sun, you have to think about that. What does Mercury want? Mercury wants to get into the details, to analyze things. Mercury likes things to move fast. It rules Gemini, fast movement. Okay, and it's staring at Saturn. Saturn rules time, discipline. So he's really disciplined about this stuff. He's really dedicated, and he's really trying to build off of this Mercury Saturn energy. And then we talk about Libra, and Libra is the relationship sign. He's using his skills of communication to bring relationships into his company. He knows life is about relationships. Money is about relationships, and the more better relationships you have, the more money you can make. And so he just wants to pile relationships into his company. I guarantee you guys, he has we've done a reading on him before. It's in one of the lives. I'm going to post that reading later. The reason I never posted it in a separate video, because Discord was kept going off and I didn't know it was on. But I'm going to post that because there we went really deep into the stars. I'm mainly just focusing on this Libra Saturn thing, because we're going to have a Libra full moon on April 16th. That's going to affect him highly, just like the new moon in Aries affected him. Hit his destiny point in North Node, hit his Saturn. Okay, it's going to hit his sun next, and this is, to me, the sun is going to show something. Okay, this was about his good karma, the work he put in. Okay, but the sun can potentially expose something with his relationships. Okay, this is a more social event for him, where he could potentially be very exposed, forced to communicate, or there's a lot of communication on him on that full moon. And look, that full moon will be opposing the Saturn. You see, the Saturn is the strong one. The Saturn is the one that has all the focus, but this full moon is opposing that Saturn. That new moon was giving that Saturn something, but this full moon the full moon is at some kind of completion in his life. Something he's been building is going to come to a completion on that full moon, most likely. And it's going to affect his ego. It's going to affect everything he wanted. It's going to affect his reputation. The sun's reputation. It could be good, it could be bad, but there's something big, something major is coming for completion for Mr. Ken Griffin. We're about to jump right into that now. Okay, guys, so if you've been watching part 1 and you watched part 2, you know the whole point of me tracking these Libras is to try to understand what's going to be happening in the stock market, especially the meme stocks, AMC and Gamestop. Why does it matter? Because first of all, Russian President Putin is a Libra. He's going to have a full moon on Libra on the 16th. Just like Mr. Ken Griffin is going to have a full moon on Libra on the 16th. Just like ARON is going to have a new moon on the 16th of April. Just like Gary Gensler is going to have a full moon in his sign in Libra on the 16th of April. Something significant is coming for the stock market, for the meme stocks, for Ken Griffin, for Russia. I can almost guarantee it. So you guys better stay tuned, because next we're going to be doing ARON, and then after that we're going to be doing Gary Gensler. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and show your boy some love and hit that like button. And if you want to check us out at the Market Moonlord Discord, there's a lot of great people in there, and that's also where I'm going to be doing my moonshot plays, where we go to high risk, high reward plays based on the moon phases. Go ahead and check us out. Back to the show. We have April 16th pulled up, 2022, and this is the full moon. It's a couple hours off, but I just want it to be right on top of his sun. It's still full moon energy, guys. It's only like a couple hours, and it's opposite his Saturn, the Yod, the dominant planet in his chart. Okay, and it's on top of his sun sign, the shining light of his stars. So what is this telling us? There's something going on with relationships for sure. Because it's also in the relationship sign of Libra, his sun sign. And there's something going on with his identity for sure, because it's hitting his Saturn. Everything he built, everything in his reality is hitting that, his identity. Okay? And so we're having a full moon on the 16th, and we know full moons bring completions, it brings endings and beginnings. It also brings fulfillment and under-fulfillment, high emotions. And for him, you know, these are happening on his big, dominating, debilitated position. So if a full moon doesn't go well here, and it starts leaning towards the bad side, it's probably going to be pretty bad. Now, as we look at this chart, what do you guys see? We see a lot of blue lines. We see a lot of red lines, but a lot of the red lines are oppositions. We know oppositions are opportunities. This right here is an opposition, but it's an opportunity. This between his Jupiter and his Uranus hitting this Neptune and Jupiter is also an opposition. That's an obstacle, but also an opportunity. All this Venus, Neptune trine, this Neptune and Jupiter is also positive. But then he has a square between his Saturn, or excuse me, between his Venus and the Saturn in the sky. So Saturn's making interesting. His natal Saturn does have a positive sextile to his actual Saturn, and he did just have the new moon here, guys. So I think his Saturn's a-okay, healthy. But what about what he's been doing over here with the sun sign? What he's been doing over here with the Mercury retrograde? I think that's where the problem's going to be, if there is a problem. Not with his Saturn, not with the things he's built, his foundation. I think that's going to be decent, but something going on with his reputation, especially with his relationships, to me is where something could be off. And the main reason why I say that is because that's his Venus. That's Venus that rules Libra. And when I look at Venus, she's getting hit heavy by Saturn. Okay? Venus is getting a square 0 degrees from Saturn. And to me, it tells me, especially since his Venus is at his fall, meaning his Venus does not want to be in Scorpio. It wants to be in the opposite side of at home in Taurus. Okay? So it hates being in Scorpio. It doesn't always get the best results there. And this is a very hidden Scorpio. All right, he likes to work behind the scenes, especially with relationships, and he's not afraid to go below the belt. Okay, but that's where he's got negative karma. All right, Saturn is karma, and he's got it with Venus matters, balance, relationships, money. Okay, so that's where, and you know, Neptune is also square the Saturn as well. And Neptune deals with deception, especially in Scorpio. So I think we might be getting something revealed on this full moon, on his sun, you know, something getting communicated, something in the details are going to get, looks like they're going to get exposed. Look at all that Scorpio energy involved, Scorpio real secrets. Venus is the ruler of his sun sign, guys, and it's getting a square to Saturn. Saturn's karma. So if something happens on this full moon, it's most likely going to be a whistleblower, potentially something coming out of the dark, something getting revealed that was supposed to be kept hidden. Okay, and then when I look at his Uranus or his Jupiter is opposite Jupiter and Neptune 0 degrees. So this is both positive and negative because you don't know which way it's going to go. But when I look at Neptune, it is making that trine to Venus, and he does have a Neptune trine, Neptune 0 degrees. That is very positive. So no matter what, I said this before and I say it again, he's not going to jail. Nothing like that is going to happen to Mr. Ken Griffin. And I'm sorry I keep calling him Mr. Ken Griffin. I'm just being stupid. But it does look like he could be losing some resources and some friendships soon with this Venus square to Saturn, especially since Saturn is in Aquarius, breaking things. So he's going to have to change. Something's getting transformed with his relationship. Something's getting transformed with how he deals with money inside his business. I think he's going to be caught doing something around this full moon. Remember, the new moon after this full moon is an eclipse, and that's very karmic. So we're going to be tracking him and trying to figure out how this is going to play out. Also, guys, Putin has a full moon here too, and we're going to see how Adam's full moon and Gary Gensler's full moon lines up. Maybe we'll get more information. But for Mr. Ken Griffin, I'm seeing an issue with relationships, an issue with what he's been doing behind the scenes. And another thing I want to point out, guys, is this is a full moon, and so that means whatever he was doing during the new moon, Libra, is going to tell is where the karma is going to come from. That was 6 months ago. So what was he doing 6 months ago? Okay, so I have October 6th pulled up, and you can see this is when we had the new moon in Libra. Okay, so now we're about to have a full moon in Libra in 2022. But whatever he was doing around this time is going to be the karma now. So let me know if you guys know if he was up to anything at October 6th or around that time. It looks like there's a lot of retrogrades, especially around that Mercury. It looks like he probably have to make it. It looks like if he did make a big decision, it was the wrong decision because that's a retrograde. So you don't want to make big decisions during retrograde. So I wonder what he was doing around this time, because that around October 6th, I think he may have made a mistake. Around October, I think he may have made a mistake if he made any big decisions with the Mercury retrograde on top of his Mercury. It's very interesting, especially on top of the new moon. He just had a Venus return, karma. I wonder what he was up to. Okay, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be tracking him. I'm going to be tracking all the other Libras. You guys let me know what you think about the video. You guys let me know if you want me to do any more type of videos like this. You guys let me know if you want me to do the Yod. If you guys are even interested in the Yod, I'll explain that some more. We can do a whole segment on that. But yeah, that's Ken Griffin. He has he has that full moon on the 16th, and I'm very, very suspicious of what might come out of the dark for him. I appreciate you guys for making this far in the video. Don't forget to hit the like on your way out. I'm Jason Alexander, Blue Moon and Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. You're watching a Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars.
Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune.